Ohio State at home surviving. Penn State winning by 9 points. What was the key factor? How did they pull it off? And what ultimately did we learn from these teams in tonight's matchup in the Big Ten? Let's take a look at it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a game recap in the Big Ten here. Week 9 of the college football season. Ohio State advances to 7-1. Penn State falling now to 5-3. Penn State playing a hell of a game tonight against the Buckeyes. You got to give them props. They played very well. Sean Clifford had a good performance. You know, when you look at it, how did these teams play? What were the stats? You know, how did they look? What was it about Penn State's game plan that went right? Did the score surprise us? Because I was talking all week long. I said Penn State could, you know, bounce back after having a couple losses. And people said, you're crazy. Ohio State's going to straight own them. They didn't really own them as much as they did. You know, I don't even know if I want to say they survived. Although the end of the game made it seem like they more so sealed it and just kind of put it away. When you look at it. Overall, looking at this game here, got to give props again to Penn State and the Nittany Lions. 11 of 18 on third downs. 0 of 1 on fourth down efficiency for Penn State. Compare that to Ohio State. They did convert once. 1 of 2. They were 5 of 14 on third downs. Overall, you know, Ohio State barely, because it was kind of similar. You know, it was almost half the game. 29 minutes, 50 seconds of game time for Penn State. How about this? 30 minutes, 10 seconds for Ohio State. That's not really what matters. You look at it, Sean Clifford was 35 of 52, 361 yards, a touchdown and a pick. C.J. Stroud, you look at him, 22 of 34, 305 yards and 1 touchdown, no picks. Right? Jahan Dotson, one of the best key receivers in college football this season, looking really good, had a good night. 11 receptions, not bad, 127 yards. The key difference, and this is what cost Penn State, like the Illinois game I noticed, and the Iowa game, turnovers. When pressure is on, right, against the better defenses, Penn State tends to turn the ball over, right? I mentioned time of possession. Ohio State had 30 minutes and 10 seconds of game time. Penn State had 29 minutes and 50 seconds of game time. Ohio State had more yards, 466 to 394 for Penn State. Get back to the turnovers. 3 turnovers for the Nittany Lions. 1 pick by Sean Clifford. You had no fumbles, no interceptions. But the other 3 were more so, I think there was a missed field goal. Also, you know, they had a hard time. They tried to convert on third down a few times, and, you know, which you got to give them credit for the gamble. But ultimately, they couldn't do it. Now, Penn State lost 2 fumbles. They threw 1 interception. Okay, so hold on. I apologize. This is wrong. But still. Anyway. So I apologize about the turnovers. I did get that mixed up. Penn State had 2 lost fumbles and 1 pick. Those were their 3 turnovers. Ohio State lost 1 fumble. No picks by C.J. Stroud. He was phenomenal, like he has been all season long. Played a heck of a game. It's not bad. Penn State had 27 first downs compared to Ohio State's 22. What was the key difference? I think it was the fact that there were some penalties, some costly errors for the Penn State defense that ultimately cost them. I think that they had a hard time getting off the field on third down at times. And just overall, in general, just some big plays. And, you know, I mean, you got to look at it, too. It was 7-3 Penn State at the end of the first quarter. And it was looking like it was going to go their direction. Not necessarily the whole game, but it was off to a good start. But then, here was the key game changer. Right? And it was only a 7-point difference at halftime, 17-10. But Ohio State outscored Penn State 14-3. Penn State would outscore them 14-10. It would be 24-27 Buckeyes. But that 14-10, Penn State outscoring them in the third quarter, things were starting to look up, and they had a good drive going there at the end. They seemed to get it done Or they didn't get it done because they didn't win the game. But it seemed like they were going to. And ultimately, 6 points by the Buckeyes and just a better defensive performance. Sean Clifford played a great game. He put some effort in, and he didn't even do too bad. It's not like the score was 9 points. 33-24. Right? Ohio State won this game because their defense showed up at the end and got stops when they needed to. It's not that Penn State couldn't convert. It's not that they couldn't score. They just couldn't finish. They were set up perfectly in position to go out, make plays, and score, and they had a hard time with it. They had some turnovers there in the second half and, whatever, that just cost them a bit. And ultimately, it just did not go their way. Again, I mentioned, C.J. Stroud threw one passing touchdown. One. Oh, well, if you're a quarterback and you only get one passing touchdown, you're going to lose. That's not necessarily true in this case. The defense of Ohio State is what shut down what Penn State had offensively. C.J. Stroud, again, 22 of 34, 305 yards. He was averaging passing not even 10 yards. He was throwing quick slants over the middle, averaging about 9 yards a passing play. There weren't really many. It was a game where it was like a defense wins championships type of game, but still a pretty decent high-scoring game. If you do the math, 57 points combined in a 33-24 game. But it was like quick plays over the middle, but C.J. Stroud and everybody was working. Mayan Williams got in there. Garrett Wilson, a key receiver. You had Jackson Smith-Jigma, had 6 receptions. His longest play was 58. Chris Olave had a touchdown. Jeremy Ruckert, the only guy to score receiving for a touchdown was Brenton Strange. He had 4 receptions, 17 yards. Talking about Penn State here, and he had the lone receiving touchdown. Jahan Dotson, who's probably their best, I think he is their best receiver. He had 11 receptions, 127 yards. He averaged about 11.5 per catch. So overall, it's one of those weird games where on paper, Penn State had some leads in some categories, but regardless of that, they did better on paper. But in the game, when it came down to it, they had a chance there at the end, and they couldn't put it away. They were, first off, they were down 9 points. They gave up 2 field goals to Ohio State in the fourth. And Penn State had some penalties that cost them some yardage on defense, and ultimately it kind of killed them there in the end. But overall, look, Penn State, here's the thing. What's it going to take for them to take that next step to make the playoffs? To forget making the playoffs, get back to the Big Ten. We know they can win big games. We know they can make bowl games and win bowl games and everything. They have yet to be back to the Big Ten title since 2016. They weren't even supposed to make it that year. But since then, they've been preseason picks, not to necessarily make it, but keep your eye on them. They'll give Ohio State or Michigan or whoever some trouble. They've been right there. They've had their opportunities, their chances, their moment. What is it going to take to go forward? What is it going to take for James Franklin and Penn State? I don't know. I'm never really going to give up on this team because I always look at them preseason and I say they're going to have a good, fair chance. They're always going to be that kind of team. They're 5-3 right now. They're 2-3 in the conference. They're still looking at a good spot maybe for your New Year's Six Bowl somewhere. With 3 losses, look, you're out of the playoffs. Are they going to fall out of the top 25, though, being at 20? That's the key factor. Is Ohio State going to stay put at 5? Or will the committee look at them and say, yeah, they're one of the top 4 teams right now? I think they are. And again, a reminder, if I'm not mistaken, I think the rankings do come out this Tuesday for the college football playoff on the 2nd. So, but again, we'll see. Enough about the rankings. This game overall, the final score 33-24. Ohio State Buckeyes over the Penn State Nittany Lions. Ohio State advances to 5-0 in conference play, 7-1 overall on the season. The Nittany Lions fall to 2-3 in conference play, 5-3 on the year. But you guys comment down below. What did you see in this game? What was it that you saw went wrong with Penn State? And I don't want to hear any of this. Ohio State's just a better team. Because, I mean, I heard that all week long, and I was kind of making some jokes a little bit, like Penn State could win this game if they wanted to, and everyone's like, stop, they're not going to win, they're just not. Ohio State's going to score like 40 on them like they have any other opponent. They only scored 33. They only won by 9 points. So, of course, they're a better team. They showed that tonight. They've shown it all year long, but Penn State gave them a game. What went wrong? Because Penn State had plenty of chances to score or pull away or whatever. It just kind of got away in the fourth quarter and towards the end. I don't know what happened necessarily other than some turnovers in this game. If they could get it back, maybe it's a different outcome. Maybe Ohio State still wins it. Maybe it's a different score. I don't know. But a few key factors played a role in this loss for Penn State overall. And they weren't really good factors. I mean, again, turnovers, not converting on third down here or there. I mean, just a bad night. You know, good effort. Like, they had chances. They had a fair shot, clearly. It just didn't fall into their hands the way that it probably should have for them to win the game. I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching this. Hey, shout out to Penn State, though. Great effort. Congrats to the Buckeyes on this win. You guys comment down below what games this weekend surprised you, what didn't surprise you. And overall on this game, I want to hear from you guys. What happened in this game? What went wrong, in your opinion, for Penn State? What happened right for Ohio State that they were able to get this victory? And, you know, where do you see these teams going? Because we're entering November this weekend on Monday, you know, and we got 4 or 5 weeks left of the actual college football season before we get to championship weekend, and then we get to the postseason with the bowl games and everything. So where do you see these teams landing? What do you expect? And again, comment what you saw in this game if you did watch it. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Remember that always. God bless. And as always, folks, Roll Tide Roll. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more amazing sports content. Love you guys. Ballard Sports Media. Check it out. Y'all have a good one. Happy Halloween.